pretty cool, the background.
Yep.
Don't you love the sound of the water come over?
Oh shit.
Extinguisher!
Okay, so we had an unfortunate accident. I really believe that there's a couple of problems that happened here. One, the wing tubes were too thin, and we believe that the wing tube is actually what broke first. These wing tubes are 60 thousandths. They need to be more in the 1/4 inch diameter, 0.222 diameter. These need to be double walled. These are way too thin. The reason I believe that that is where it broke first is because these sleeves have not been moved. I have tried to leave all the damage. This was in this wing, okay? This is the wing that folded up and over. We were also extremely worried maybe the wing had slid off and this was loose. This whole pin piece is still together and locked tight, okay? It pulled it right out of the wing, okay? So that sleeve says that that wing tube broke at 4 inches inside the fuselage, okay? So how we've kind of come up with this is there's your skin. So these parts were all broke. So another fundamental problem is you guys added carbon fiber here to this belly section, which is awesome. But it looks like you guys did one layer of carbon fiber. In my recommendation, this substructure is quite strong. It's not all the way to the top surface, which means you're using some Cavasil to fill that gap. If you did this as 3 layers of carbon fiber through here, so that the whole center section of this airplane is super strong, you're not going to be as dependent upon your substructure, which is really close to really good. The problem was is it delammed from the skin, because as you see that this has been wiped and cleaned a little bit, you need to be very careful when you're using carbon fiber that if this mold has sat for a couple of days, the waxes kind of come up through and the Cavasil will not bond to it. But as you see right here, that section didn't even touch. See, this substructure here for your landing gear plate wasn't even matching to the skin. If you're doing anything more than a 1/16 of an inch with this Cavasil, it's very brittle. So when things do flex, it just shatters right off. So putting the wing tube back in here to show where it broke, if we set that right there, and we set this right here, the wing tube broke at 4 inches inside, okay? So we are so far away from the fuel tank system. The fuel tank's right there. This is the center section where the fuel tank is. We're another 4 inches away from the fuel tank. So if you guys did this as 3 layers, left all your substructure to the same, be aware that this needs to be cleaned a little bit better so that these are bonding more properly. I think that's where the break was. Well, I'm sure that's where the break was. That's where it's obvious. So to show the other wing here that's still attached after the crash, this one must have not been as dry or something. It's still crazy strong. And as you tap through this section, you can hear that it has no hollow. It is not debonded on this side. So I believe that the wing tube failed first, which then tore the skins off, or the skins popped loose, which then flexed the airplane and then shattered the wing tube. If it was a thicker wing tube, I do not believe that this failure would have happened. Even if it would have flexed, the wing tube would have held, and you would have landed and had some kind of a kink or something showing here in your skins, a problem, okay? There is no problems here on the opposite side. So to really finalize my thoughts, the ones that are still flying, if you added a double wall or a super heavy duty tube, I don't think you'd have a problem. I think you could even do a sleeve that would go down in there, because you want your sleeves to be a proper fitment, and trying to get them all to match perfectly without a lot of slop, which causes problems. you could actually send out a sleeve that would slide down in there and use a little bit of Gorilla Glue on both ends to let it bond properly. That way you're not messing with the customer's sleeves. Yeah, let me know what we want to do. There's also some questions I'm sure somebody's going to ask. The mods that I did inside the tank, I mean inside the fuselage, do you feel like your mods caused this to crumple? No, I do not, because this is so far away from those mods. And if that's where the crumple would have happened, the fuel tank was still full of fuel. There is no real damage to the fuel tank. And if that would have, if my section would have came apart, it would have crinkled the tank and maybe it should have ruptured the tank. On my recommendations, the mod that I did, because I'm using a very, very specialized plywood that's super, super strong, if I was going to do this and I wasn't going to custom make my plywood, I would make this out of 3/8 thick 7-layer ply, or even 1/4 inch ply. I mean 1/2 inch ply right through here. I would do a little bit thicker on that, but I do not feel that that's where the break happened, because how it is so far away from everything. Again, this is proper lamination right there. This, you can see that the glue hadn't even bonded through a lot of these sections. Through here on the landing gear, maybe that frame, this framework didn't get shoved in all the way properly. Something. You might want to look at making this a little bit thicker so that you're not gapping with Cavasil. Because clearly we can see that it was not touching the skins. Again, adding maybe 3 layers of carbon fiber through here, upping the thickness of your substructure, that should fix it. Again, here's another part that, again, this Cavasil never even touched your skins. You can see that it's still round. That's a real problem there. But then on this backside where they set it down in there, the glue has been completely delammed off the wood. That is what you should see with proper lamination. So, okay, that should be where we're at. Had a little bit of turbine damage, but easily repairable. I'm shocked at how everything kind of worked out. Broke a screen. Here's my fuel tank tray. Didn't even rupture the UAT. Everything's good. Just broke the screen. Broke a couple of wires. But almost every servo in the airplane is destroyed. It hit the ground so hard. That's your nose gear. Bent all the mounts loose. The Smart Fly had actually stripped them all off. Yeah, so let me know. Thanks, guys.